Hi everyone! I hope that you're well and doing well wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As you can tell, I have a little bit of a cold, but I hope that you can still understand me. I'm hoping that's alright with you. I just had a little bit of a extremely strenuous hike in the mountains a couple of days ago, and then I just got this cold. I can't even help myself. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about something that I've been thinking about for a while, ever since I discovered that I had ADHD. You know, kind of just like INFJ, knowing that I'm an INFJ was kind of like a puzzle piece that kind of fell into place, and all of a sudden everything, a lot of things made sense. I was like, this is why I do this. Oh my god. The same thing happened to me when I discovered that I had ADHD. It was like so many little things that I did without knowing why I did them, but I couldn't help doing them. I understood that was the reason I was doing them, and it was like an aha moment for me in a lot of different cases. And one of the things I did notice as I learned more about myself and as I took care of myself as a human being, you know, kind of fed myself properly, drank enough water, slept properly, you know, did all those things that other people find very easy to do somehow, that I was finding so difficult. Like I still think keeping myself alive is the hardest thing to do. I don't know about you, but I find it very difficult. I don't know how people have children, because I myself am having such a hard time keeping myself alive, taking care of myself, that if I had to take care of another human being on top of this, I don't know how I'd do it. I really don't know how to do it. I literally don't know how to do it still. I know a little bit about it, but I'm not an expert at it at all. Whereas I feel like some other people have an easier time of it. I mean, they don't even think about it. Yeah, drink water, eat food. For me, it's like constantly have to think about it. Okay, now you must eat food because you need to sustain yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get a headache and then you won't be able to survive. Things like that. So one of the things I have noticed, as I said, I am taking only one supplement. I started taking one supplement after I found out that I have ADHD, and I really love that supplement, and it works really well for me. I don't know, I'm not advocating, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that it's good for you as well, but for me it's worked really well, and it's PSA. I'll put it in the link below, or I'll put it in the comments. It's phosphatidylserine and ginkgo biloba. So I use a combination of those two in one supplement, and it really helps me a lot. But one of the things, as I said, I noticed as soon as I discovered I had ADHD, as soon as I realized I'm doing all these things for a reason, as soon as I started understanding myself better, is that a lot of things that didn't make sense before are starting to slowly fall into place. And I'm gonna give you an example just because I think it'll make more sense that way. So, for example, when I was younger, when I was around 12 or something, I was the scrawniest, the smallest child in the class. I was tiny. And, you know, everyone would be like, oh my god, you're so small, blah, blah. And then over a year, it felt like overnight, but over a period of 6 months to 8 months to a year, something around there, I don't remember now. But very quickly, I grew so fast. I had a growth spurt over the summer. My brother had the same thing kind of at his age, my sister as well. So we were all really small, and then all of a sudden the next year we were the tallest in the class. So I was like tiny, I don't remember how small I was, and then the next year I was 5'7", and literally the tallest person in the class. And so because of that, everyone's like, oh, you must play basketball, you must be really good at it, you're tall, la la. Like, I was the smallest person just a few months ago. I don't even know how to play basketball. But anyways, I gave it a try because everyone was so adamant. And so they tried to teach me how to do a layup. Now, I don't know if you know anything about basketball. I'm not an expert either. But it's like you take 1 or 2 steps, and then you jump, and then you put the ball right through the hoop right next to it. Now, I wasn't as tall that I could reach the hoop very easily. But the problem for me was that I did not know how to coordinate my arms and my legs and my body and the ball. It was literally like I am given an astronomical problem, and I was looking at it like, oh my, my brain's just like, it would freeze up every single time. I would go for the layup, and I'd be like, left leg, right leg, hand, ball, okay. Every single time. They tried so hard to teach me, It's so funny to me. I still remember because it was so hard for me to understand. I'm like, left leg, right leg, and I would trip, I would fall over the ball, I would let the ball go before it's supposed to go. I would do all these things because I literally had no idea how to coordinate my body. Now, of course, I was also, I'd just come into this body that had, grown up so fast. So I had all these limbs that were longer. So that was part of the problem as well. But even when I was in university, years later, they would, ask me to do a layup, and I'll be like, layup, okay, I don't know what it would take me forever to understand. Forever. It was just that my brain could not coordinate all of these different pieces at all. I could do certain things really well. Like if you gave me a calculus problem, I would just look at it and be like, yeah, that's the answer. I would know. It was really, really clear to me. Not like a genius or anything. I mean, I've seen geniuses, how they work, and they were like, that's instant for them. But it was pretty close. Like I would look at it, like in half a minute, I'd have an answer. And it was very easy. Like it was so easy. I always got 99 or 100, like full marks on a calculus test, even in university calculus. So it was easy peasy. That my brain could understand. But doing a layup, like physical movement, like kinesthetic senses were completely not my forte. And so my brain was like, I don't know what you're asking me to do, but I can't do it. And no matter how many times you ask me, I'm not going to be able to do it. So it was really funny to me because I'm like, okay, well, I can't do a layup, so I can't really play basketball. And so eventually they give up on me and they're like, all right, obviously you're not a basketball player. Then they tried volleyball, and I was able to do volleyball. That wasn't so hard. But basketball, no. I really still want to try basketball on my own because like I just love the idea of it, and I just really want to conquer it. And so recently I started, doing it on my own. I just bought a basketball, just started playing on my own. And interestingly enough, because I've been doing this PSA thing for the last year and a bit, and I've realized I had ADHD. I've been taking care of myself and doing all these things to take care of my body and my senses and my mind. I realized that I was able to, in my head, understand more clearly how to do a layup than I was in the past. I'm not an expert, obviously, as I said, but that confusion that I had when I was younger, that complete mystification of like, what? My left leg goes after what? My heart? It was like I was mystified back then. Now I'm like, oh, right, this makes sense. The same thing happened to me when I was doing a couple other things as well, like random other things that I don't want to give examples of because I don't want to confuse you, but I've noticed in the past year that things that completely mystified me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, in the past year have suddenly started to make so much sense. It's as if my brain was in the fog and the fog has cleared and suddenly I can see, and the answer is right there in front of me. It's not even that far away from me. It's right there. It just, the fog has dissipated, right? So I'm not saying that it's only the medication. I'm sure there's other things related to it. I feel like ADHD brains, a lot of times they say it's because of trauma. So I feel like it takes us a little bit longer to develop, for our brain structure to develop, for it to mature, for it to settle somehow. Because I do notice that the older I get, every single year, I get better and better. My brain gets better. My intelligence gets better. The way I look at things gets better. I'm able to catch things faster. I'm able to read things and instantly understand them much faster, much better than I used to be able to do before. Which is kind of interesting because I'm 40 now, so my brain should be deteriorating. But in fact, I'm finding that it's becoming faster and faster and faster and better, which is kind of interesting to me. I don't know what's that about really. But I don't know that much about the ADHD brain. I only know my brain. And I do notice, as I said, as time goes on, things become clearer to me how to live life even, I would say that when I was younger, even now, I'm not saying I know it all, but when I was younger, I was mystified about how to live life, how to manage my finances, how to pay for things, how to buy things for myself. For the longest time, I bought the wrong size shoe because I did not understand what my shoe size was. Like, I know it seems ridiculous, but I'd always get a size smaller and then be confused why my feet are hurting all the time. And like finally, after years and years of doing that, I suddenly realized I'm getting the wrong shoe size. Oh my god, I would always get 8 and actually my shoe size is 9. Or I would get 8.5 and it was just almost perfect but not there. I have no idea why I did that. But again, like little things like that, my brain just did not know. It did not know how to compute. It literally is like a robot, do not know how to compute. But really good in other ways, right? Like, so I could calculate things very fast. I could discern things really quickly. I could figure out people's emotions very quickly. All of these random things happen in an instant for me and for my brain. But in other ways, it's like, what? Like, how do I move my hands? How do I do this? It was just mystific. It was just completely mystified, right? As I said, now, due to various things, probably because my brain is maturing, I'm calming down, my stress levels are a little bit lower, my anxiety is much lower, I'm taking care of myself, I'm really allowing myself to be in the moment, I'm not rushing around. Like, I mean, there's lots of things I'm doing differently. I'm not stressed about money because I've been able to do it properly for a while now. You know, things like that, very many things have kind of settled into place, and so I feel settled and grounded as well. My brain feels settled and grounded as well without anxiety running it. And I feel now that suddenly it's like running at optimum speed. You know, it was like it was decelerated for the longest time. It was like there was like a stopper on it. I think they put those on trucks or like on certain cars to keep you from speeding. And I feel like exactly that. I had that stopper, that thing that was preventing me from going at my optimal speed. And suddenly that stopper's been removed. I don't know how it's been removed, and I'm really curious to know. Maybe in hindsight I'll figure it out. I mean, as I said, it's probably a mixture of many different things. I'm taking a lot more supplements, a lot more brain supplements, as I said, ginkgo biloba, PSA. I'm also doing spirulina, chlorella, magnesium sprays. I'm doing like a bunch of supplements. I'm doing a bunch of like really delicious smoothies all the time. Lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of greens, lots of sleep, making sure that it gets enough sleep, you know, making sure I drink enough water. You know, I'm making sure of the basics. So perhaps my brain's like able to relax and able to do what it's meant to do or could do that it couldn't do till now, right? And so I've said this before, I think INFJs have the same problem. I think ADHD is very similar in that regard as well, that it takes us a long time to come into our own. Like, people seem to figure themselves out perhaps in their 20s, even 30s perhaps. For us, I think it takes us our 40s and 50s to figure ourselves out, to be like, oh, right, now I know myself. Oh, now I know what I need to do. Oh, now I know what I should be doing in my life. Oh, that's what life is about. And so it takes us a while to get there, much longer, I think twice as long as other people, neuronormal people. And so neurodivergent people, I feel like it takes them much longer, right, to like settle into their own. And so now, as I said, I'm 40, and now I feel like, oh, right, now the world makes sense. Now, oh, everything kind of is falling into place. So if you are, you know, in the situation where you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't know if I'm ever gonna figure it out, I'm gonna be stuck like this forever, don't worry. If you are neurodivergent, or you're an INFJ or anything related, it just takes time, really. I feel like even some people might take until their 60s and all of a sudden blossom, right? Or even their 80s and sudden blossom. So really, time, I don't know, it's a weird concept. Some people have said, oh, it's only, you have to figure it all by 21 or even 16. How are you supposed to do that? Like, how? Anyways, this video is already very long, so I'm going to cut it off here. But I definitely want to say that if you have questions about this kind of stuff, please message me or comment below. I want to do a lot more videos about me and my coming into my own as a person with ADHD, or figuring it out kind of thing. So let me know if you want more videos like this, or what particularly you want to hear about. Again, thank you so much for listening, for watching, and I'm so grateful for all of you. Bye for now.